he was coming through a class we used to assemble at, he used to come through with a big bag of Moorish flag pins, like the little pins like you could put on to your shirt, your hat, you know what I mean, your collar if you wear a collar, things like that. He used to come through with the big bag of that and, you know, sell them for 5 notes to the people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I'm flashing all of this back in my head like, yo, it was like, you know, if they wanted to infiltrate, it was really that easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was coming around and we didn't even know he was police. Like, you know what I'm saying? Until that particular meeting. So for me, it seemed like it was too much of a compromise. And that's the facts, you know. So wise times, they weren't trying to move with being still plugged into the aspect of that matrix, you know, as far as compromising identity, freedom, you know, different rights, and you know, going back to the liberal arts too, grammar, you know, because remember we was dealing with the Circle 7 science before we even met them, you know what I mean? So it was like, we're looking at the grammar and the paperwork they're pulling out, everything is in all capital letters. So we still like, this is not the way, because all of this is still the same thing, just, you know, you got your free national appellation on it. It's still the same slight though, you know what I mean? It's still slighting you. Like, we're trying to break the spell all the way, you know what I mean? Which means, you know, we gotta take the sacrifice of not necessarily, you know, subscribing to that, to make this stand. Like, that's not what it is right now. So, you know, when that happened, we seen all of that and seen what they were about at that time, you know, and the naturalization not being a part of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali left. It just didn't, there was no resolve in the meeting, except for, I said, at the end of the Holy Quran, to you be your way, to me be mine, you know, or to us be ours. But, you know, we definitely, nobody was compromising, you know, what they were standing on towards converting to, you know, the naturalization thing and getting all those void documents in your free national appellation. Like, that wasn't happening. So I just let you know that's the fact of the result of sitting down. The first, like, it was supposed to be like an hour and some change, but I'm telling you, it didn't last past 15 minutes, man. It didn't, because it was real clear that no one was compromising. So I just stick that for the record, you know what I mean? And that was with Brad and Bay, you know, the said national grade sheet. So, you know, something will have to change format for either we're going to deal with nationality or not, you know what I mean? But my thing is this, you got people coming at us, people coming at everybody and all of this, you know, until y'all really dealing with what Prophet Noble Drew Ali left, what can we come together on? Because this is about nationality and birthrights, not naturalization. We understand, you know, our relation on both sides of the Atlantic. So we got to stop playing this, you know, abandoned America game mentality and not realizing we are the Aboriginal indigenous people. And with that, you know, if we want to deal with Mosaic law, it's protected by the First Amendment law of the land. And that's Prophet Noble Drew Ali directives precisely, was to enforce the Constitution. So it just didn't add up. Like you're saying, you're representing the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but the work is not showing that. You know what I mean? And that's why the meeting didn't really work out like that. You know?
Islam, more. Give thanks for that.
No problem, man.
And we'll
no problem.
Yeah, we'll touch again at 9:30.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yo, let me say one more thing too.
Yeah.
I don't mean to go long.
No,
with
you'll
it.
do your thing, fam.
Yeah. The other coward, Ali Muhammad. Now he took a shot, a dirty shot. We addressed that already. I'm not going to address it again, but for him and anybody who agrees with, you know, any of that, I want to know what is your opinions now, right? Because the murder of has nothing to do with it being Raz or Taj's fault or Ari Bay or anybody or Kujo. It's nobody's, like, this is the agenda being implemented. So for all of the bodies that's dropping, I forgot, pardon me, it was a Breton who just got murdered out in Tulsa, Oklahoma by the policy enforcers. And another brother in Charlotte, so-called Charlotte, North Carolina. Where's the outcry with that? Is that blind eye like that? Then all the other bodies don't count except for Kareem Gaines? That's what y'all saying, basically? And that one body is supposed to be Moore's fault. So I just want to say this: some of these people are sick, man, like really, really sick. And I just wanted to yield on that note, bro. Just to say that. Islam.
Islam, boy.
Indeed, boy. All right, 9:30.
Yeah.
MTHS eyes wide open.
For sure.
Broadcast, bro.
For sure, for sure. Islam.
Islam, boy.
Please. Right? So when you go and you do your research on these individuals, you're going to come to their website and they're going to talk about reincarnated stuff and Supreme Grand Advisor and all this, and then tie Noble Drew Ali to that stuff that they're doing. Right? Now, this is what they say. This is what they say on their website. Right? On September 15th to September 20th, 1929, a national convention was called by Supreme Grand Sheikh E. Mili L. At the national convention, offices were created. Those offices were Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, Grand Sheikh, Grand Treasurer, Grand Financial Secretary, Custodian of Charters, Seals, and Ordination Papers, and Grand Governor. At the National Convention, Sheikh C. Kirkman Bey was duly, properly, and lawfully elected Supreme Grand Advisor as the Chief Officer in Authority for the Moorish Science Temples of America. Not Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Science Temples of America. Officers were elected for each of the offices then and there at the National Convention, duly, properly, and lawfully created, and each of them assumed the duties of the office to which they were elected. National offices were to organize, direct, and coordinate a nationwide movement to teach all Moors in America their nationality and their divine creed. Each local temple in every state was presided over by a Grand Sheikh. Each state was presided over by a Grand Governor of the state, and the entire organization was presided over by the national officers consisting of Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, the Grand Treasurer, and the Grand Financial Secretary. Now that's what C. Kirkman Bey says. Now and this is why Noble Drew Ali put things in written form, because the press is our greatest weapon. So one of our greatest weapons are authority that Moors use as their, when I say their I mean Moors, what they use as their Declaration of Independence as Moors. You know, they talk about Declaration of Independence and the US stuff, okay. Declaration of Independence for Moors. This is when your body politic was created. So when you check the back, I, Noble Drew Ali, recorder Salmiz Jaskanowik, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, held at Chicago in the county of Cook and the state of Illinois on the 20th day of July, 1928. For that purpose, of following persons were appointed sheikhs according to the rules and usages of such Moorish Holy Temple of Science, do solemnly swear that at a meeting of the members of Noble Juali, Mili Il, Small Bay, Lovett Bay, and Foreman Bay, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great Prophet of Ali in America, to appoint and consecrate missionaries of the Prophet and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. And the said Moorish Holy Temple of Science adopted as its corporate name the following Moorish Science Temple of America. And at said meeting, this affiant acted and presiding officer subscribed, sworn, Noble Juali signed. And so, the only name that we have on record that was doing anything active after Noble Juali is Miliel. Right? And then you have these other people talking about reincarnated stuff and all that. So, we'll just read, because remember, they put it on the record. Right? Remember, this is the same Temple 13 and all these people. This is all these people. Right? This is their history. This is what they say. Right? The offices that were created at the convention was Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, Grand Sheik, Grand Treasurer, Grand Financial Secretary, Custodian of Charters, Seals and Ordination Papers, and Grand Governor. And that at the National Convention, C. Kirkman Bey was duly, properly, and lawfully elected Supreme Grand Advisor as the chief officer in authority for the Moorish Science Temples. So, people who are on this side of the Moorish movement, they have a perspective that their leaders were the ones that had the authority. The people who they've been told is the Supreme Grand Advisor and moderators and whatever else, right? They're not, none of the reincarnated people are listed on this. This is our authority. This is what Moorish Science Temple is using to exercise as a regency. Remember, it says right there that appoint and consecrate missionaries. So if the names of the individuals who say that they're the heads aren't on this, then they're running a fraud. Because this is our authority. This is what was supposed to be followed as far as the individuals that Moors were supposed to get behind and support as their leadership. But only one, well, two, two of these names, Miliil and Noble Juali, are the only ones that you really hear about. Okay. So this is Supreme Grand Sheik Miliil now. Okay, you heard how they said they have the jurisdiction or the power as Supreme Grand whatever to do what they say that they're doing, right? Naturalize and all that. Okay. Islam, my dear brother, I am agreeably surprised as well as glad to hear from you at this time. I have often wondered what happened to you. Now speaking of Dov El, you didn't have much understanding as to what this party was doing, or where he was operating, or who gave him his authority. If he acts on the lines of Islam,